Hi y'all, welcome back. Today I'm going to bring for you a tutorial eye look using the Wet n Wild Au Naturel palette, and this one is in the palette Nude Awakenings. This was in my spring haul from the drugstore, and it's just a gorgeous palette full of just gorgeous colors, super pigmented, easy to work with, super blendable. And so I'm going to show you kind of my go-to eye look I've been kind of using with this. I've created a couple different ones, and you really can, even though really there is only one that I would consider transition color in here, but honestly it's the only one I've needed. It's worked perfect with everything. So we're gonna go ahead, I'm gonna pull you in a little bit and we'll get started. Okay, so now that I have you in a little bit closer, we're going to get started. The palette is labeled on the back numbers 1 through 10 for the colors, so that's kind of how I'm going to refer to them, so that if you do have this palette, you can follow along at home if you so choose to. So the first thing I'm going to go to is, let's see, 2, 4, I'm going to go into shade number 7, which is what I consider pretty much the transition color of the palette, and I'm going to throw that into my crease because I just always like to start off with my crease color first. I'm going to use my e.l.f. Blending brush for this, and we're just going to put this in the crease. 'Cause I'll bring you to the light, and it might taste bitter when you're answering to God. You can call me killer. Okay, so now that I have the creases pretty well blended in, I'm going to go ahead and move to the lid color. This is just kind of the order I always put on eyeshadow, so it's just the same order I'm going to follow. For the lid color, I'm going to go into shade number 5. It's just a really pretty, almost kind of like a dusty mauve, a lot of shimmer in it, so make sure you do tap your brush. For that, I'm going to go in with my e.l.f. eyeshadow C brush. That's right, it has tape. It still has tape. For those of you that are new to me, I don't plan on getting another brush until this one stops doing what it's supposed to do. So we're just going to pack that all over the last 2/3 of the lid, leaving the inner third open. And I did build that color up just a little bit because it is a very light shade, and for it to show up more so on my skin tone, I do need to build it up some. But if you have fairer, or even I would say deeper skin tone, I'm kind of in that funky medium on skin tone. If you have fairer or deeper skin tone, you probably won't have to build it up as much. But for me, it kind of mutes into my own skin tone just because of my color. So now I'm going to go into, this would be a shade number 7 in the palette. This is deep dark burgundy. It's beautiful. It's matte. Just a gorgeous shade. I'm going to pack that out on my outer corner, what they consider the outer V or the boomerang area. And for that, I'm going to use my Real Technique shading brush. And how I do this, and you'll see as I apply it, what I basically do is I focus on packing right in here, and then hitting this bone right here, that orbital bone, I kind of flatten my brush around it, so to speak, and that's what gives me kind of that shape that I'm going for. So you basically have to work with the eye shape you're giving. If you just use the bone structure that you have, you'll be able to accomplish that. Corners. Now it's time to blend it out. For that, I'm going to use my L.A.B Square Just Blending In Brush. It's just my favorite brush to use for blending. And I'm just barely going to rub on the skin, not very hard whatsoever. And I'm just going to kind of blend this out to just take away that harsh edge. God, you can call me killer. As you look into my eyes, nothing but a sinner. You won't get. So now I have that pretty well blended out to my liking. So I'm going to go ahead and do the inner corners. Well, no, you know what? I'm going to go up and I'm going to do the brow bone. Then I'll do the inner corner. And for the brow bone, I'm going down in here into shade number 1. It's this beautiful matte, buttery, almost kind of like an ecru color. I would say it's just a tad bit lighter than Wet n Wild's Brulee, if you're familiar with Brulee that comes in the singles. To move on, and I forgot to tell you guys, I'm sorry. For that, I was using my Beau Gachis smudge brush. This came in an Ipsy bag. Yeah, I don't use that to smudge. I really like it for up there in that area because it's just the perfect size and I can just target it just the way I like to. And I know I use several brushes when I'm doing my eyes, more so than I do with my face. You don't need all these brushes. This is just what I'm comfortable with using. So now we're gonna go ahead and I'm gonna move on to the inner corner and tear duct. And for that, I'm going to go into shade number 2 here. It's this real pretty, the camera's not really doing it justice here. Pretty pinky color here. It's got a really light pink iridescent reflect to it. I'm gonna use my e.l.f. concealer brush. It's my favorite brush to use for this. Tap that in. Make sure you do tap off the excess. It's going to have a little bit of fallout because it is a shimmery shade. So I really like how that turned out there. And I'm sorry, I think it's starting to get a little yellow. I'm filming on my way to work actually, so it's about 5 in the evening right now. So now what I'm going to do, and I forgot to grab it, here it is I'm gonna work that transition outer border, and this is just kind of like the way I like to do this. I know some people just throw on the transition color and then lay things on top. I like to kind of work it towards the end so I know how much I'm really blending away and blending off. So for that, I'm gonna do a mixture here of the lid and the crease color that I did. So I'm just gonna do like one little tap into the lid color, and then I'm gonna kind of tap it on a couple of times into what I used for the crease color. Tap that off really good. And then I like to use my e.l.f. crease brush for this because it's really, really tiny and really wispy. And so what I'm doing is I'm just going to very lightly, almost circular motions, but also back and forth, go around the border of this darker shade here. There we go. And see, I don't know if you can really tell much. See how it just really compared from here to over here? See how it just really softened things up a little bit? And that's all it's there for to do. So like I said, one tap into the lid color, and then a couple taps into the crease color, and then just around the border ever so slightly. There we go. And I really like that because see, like I said, that just kind of really softens things up. Then of course, when in doubt, blend it out. And I'm going to blend just a little bit more in the corner. I'm going to kind of blend upward and outward. Just a little bit. Just to take out just a little bit of the deepness there. And I just want to make sure that that's, really blended really there. Okay, one last little thing I do with the eyelid is usually after I've been doing a lot of blending and things like that is I like to just take my fingertip and dip into the main lid color and just kind of pop it right on the center. Just to help make sure that that color does pop. Now we're going to work the lower lash line. This one's real simple too. I'm taking my flat definer brush. This is from Luxie Beauty. Also came in an Ipsy bag. Love this brush. It's just amazing. I'm going to go again into shade number 7, which was our deep burgundy color that we used in the outer corner. I'm going to tap into that, and basically I'm just pressing this in between my lashes. I'm going to take my IT Cosmetics Smokey liner brush. It's just a nice little pencil brush. I'm going to go into shade number 6, which has been our transition crease color. Use this a lot. And I'm just going to lightly go on that and just kind of smudge that out some. And then what I think makes this eye look a little bit fun and a little bit different and somewhat unique is I'm taking my Jordana Made to Last 12-Hour Liquid Eyeliner Pencil. And this is in the shade Purple Fix. Give this a quick sharpen. And I'm going to just line the top of my eyelids. I'm not gonna wing. I'm not gonna really pull it in heavy. Just gonna do a quick line over the top. And so then that's pretty much done. So I'm gonna give my lashes a quick curl, throw in some of my Maybelline Luscious Lash Sensational Luscious Mascara, a little bit of lip color, and then I'll bring it back. I'll bring it in close and let you see what it looks like when it's all done. Actually, before I finish my look completely, something I always do after I put on my mascara, if I've done a wing line or anything, but anytime I do shadow, is I like to clean up my edge and almost give myself like a sharp shadow wing. You could use this with tape beforehand, but I just like this method a little bit more. I also think that this helps my weep line not weep nearly as much. I call it my weep line. It's my eye down here tends to weep. So what I do is I'm using my Maybelline Fit Me concealer. I'm in the shade 25, which is medium. And I'm just going to put a few dots on the outside edge of my eyeshadow. Just 3 dots usually. I'm taking my Real Techniques pointed foundation brush. Any concealer brush or small angled brush you have would work just fine. And I literally just sweep that up there and then blend it down. And then I just take that same brush, I kind of wipe it off, and I run into, you know, whatever setting powder or whatever, and just kind of, you know, tap some powder on there just to make sure it's set. So here is our finished eye look. What do you guys think? Do you like it? I mean, this is kind of a very natural looking eye look, which is pretty much in my comfort zone. It's what I always wear. But I really love the pop of burgundy in this. And like I said, these shadows are just amazing. They're so gorgeous. They're so beautiful. So again, this is our finished look. We're all completed. I really do enjoy using this palette. I think it's just a wonderful palette. It's very versatile. I think you can create, good Lord, my phone's going off. Anyway, I think you can create some really dramatic, dark, and smoky kind of looks. I think you can go super light and put a barely there look, and then you can go right in between. And like I said, even though I really only consider this the only real like transition-y type crease color because it's matte and I like a matte something in my crease, I pulled off several different looks with it, and that's been the color. I've been able to use that color for all of them. So it's just really, I think it's really a complete palette. You don't find very many of those, especially drugstore wise, but I do think that this is a very complete palette, and it's got this, you know, one thing Wet n Wild does wonderful is a black, a fabulous, you know, one swipe, super pigmented black. So again, I really do enjoy this palette. I think it's well worth it. Now, this is a Walmart only exclusive, so you can only find these at Walmart, and they retail for $5.62. Are you flipping kidding me? Anyway, that is my eye look that I have brought for you today. I hope that you guys enjoyed spending some time with me while I went through this with you. Definitely give it a thumbs up if you liked it, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.